All right, moving right along to number 2. So notice that this strategy does take a while. So some of these problems might be ones that you originally skip on the ACT, but they come back to. If it takes you 3 or 4 minutes to get the correct answer, that's not a bad thing as long as ultimately you do get the correct answer. So number 2 says two integer values of x solve the equation x squared minus x equals b. Which of these is one of these is positive and the other is negative? Which of the following could be the value of b? So go ahead and try this on your own. A couple things that you could think about is you have possible values for b in your answer choices. So you could try each of those in the equation given and see if that's the value for b. Could you find an x value that makes it true that's positive and also an x value that makes it true that's negative? Try it on your own. All right, so to start with, I'm going to think about process of elimination. So just thinking about that original problem that was given. Taking a look at the original problem, we have x squared minus x equals, and what I'm noticing in the answer choices is we have a couple negative b values. So let's just say this equals a negative value. That really doesn't make sense because x squared is going to be larger than x. So when we do subtraction, it shouldn't end up in a negative number. So I'm actually going to eliminate a and b to start with. Those are just unreasonable. If you didn't notice that to start with, no big deal. You would just have a little bit more problem solving to do in the long run. So now I'm going to look at answer choice C. Looking at answer choice C, that's saying b equals 0. So going back to our original equation, that means x squared minus x equals 0. Now, if you're thinking about how your math teacher would do this problem, these are actually solving quadratic problems, but I'm going to go through using the strategy that's outlined on this challenge. So what I'm trying to come up with is a positive value for x that makes this true to begin with. So the positive value that I'm going to choose is 1. So if I plug in a 1 for both the x's, that would be 1 squared minus 1, and that does in fact equal 0. But I also have to have a negative value that makes this true. So the negative value that I'm going to try, and this is really just totally guess and check. I'm trying to be smart about the numbers I'm choosing, but ultimately it is guess and check. If I plug in a negative 1 to that equation I have above, then that's negative 1 squared minus a negative 1. This does not equal 0 because our value here would become positive, so I would have 1 plus 1 that is actually 2, not 0. You could continue plugging in negative numbers to see if you can make this true, but ultimately it's just not going to work. So we could eliminate answer choice C. Now I'm going to try answer choice D, which is saying b equals 9. So plugging that into the original problem, I have x squared minus x now equals 9. So we're going to try to come up with a positive number that makes this true and also a negative number that makes this true. So I'm going to start with, and again, these are just random numbers I'm picking. I'm trying to be smart about it. I'm going to start with positive 3. So that would be 3 squared minus 3. So that's 9 minus 3, which is 6. That does not equal 9. So that doesn't create a true statement. So because my outcome here was 6, it's a little bit too small. So I could try the positive number of 4, going a little bit larger. 4 squared minus 4. Well, that still doesn't equal 9. Now it's too large. 16 minus 4 is 12, not 9. So I can't even come up with a positive number, much less a negative number to make this true. I'm going to eliminate D. The last answer choice, so now we know that E has to be the answer, but let's kind of walk through that. E is saying B equals 12. So plugging that B value into our original equation, let's see if we can come up with a positive and a negative number to make this true. So starting with positive, I'm actually going to use what we did on answer choice D because I remember that equaled 12. So if we choose the positive value of 4, 4 squared minus 4 does equal 12. So that was kind of nice. I could use previous work on that. And then to come up with a negative number, if I choose a negative 3, negative 3 squared, make sure you use parentheses if you're plugging that into your calculator. minus a negative 3 does equal 12 because that would be 9 plus 3, which does equal 12. I came up with a positive and a negative number to make this a true statement.